Good evening. Welcome to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. Today is October 17, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Legislator Sage, would you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery. District 2, Legislator Goldman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Adnizio.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elner.
Here.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator Sage.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Crowley.
Present.
District 6, Chairman Yasi.
Present. Okay, we're going to go right to the proposed committee changes. We all have a list. We're in Health, Social, Educational, Environmental Committee. Item number 1 is the Health Department, New York City DEP grant, increased revenue and public health infrastructure grant. The total difference is $1,259. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 2 is Youth Bureau, Pegasus program. It's to move $1,000 from promotional materials to miscellaneous. It's a difference of $0. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 3 is Mental Health Administration, Oasis abatement funds. It's reduced revenue from $284,153 to $218,179. It's a difference of $65,974. Discussion. Legislator Goldman.
So Oasis is not giving us 65,000, correct?
Maybe Commissioner Lewis, you could say it. It's 65,000 less in revenue, correct?
Correct, and that adjustment is strictly to just make sure that the revenues are equaling the expenditures.
Right. It's a bookkeeping
Bookkeeping.
issue that we saw
It's 100%
during
funded.
committee.
Correct.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 4 is Mental Health Administration Vehicle Leasing Rental, increase from 1 car to 2 cars. It's from $8,000 to $16,560. It's a difference of $8,560. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 5 is Office for Disabled, computer equipment, not covered by grant. It's moved to DGS and designate for Office for Disabled. It is a difference of $0. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6 is Social Services Department, Administration, computer equipment, increase from 0 to $47,500. It's a difference of $47,500. Discussion. Legislator Goldman.
Thank you. Is there any other way we could do this without spending $47,000 on computers?
What I learned.
Yes, please. Thank you, Commissioner.
So what I learned was that when the tentative budget was presented to the legislature, when the county exec took out the original ask, we did not factor in the offsetting revenue. So after talking with Ms. Sharkey and Kristen Warner from the DSS, we decided to leave it in there because the revenue is already reflected in the 25 budget. So there will be a 0 fiscal impact, as they mentioned.
Thank you.
Right. Any other discussion? Yes.
I believe this money is coming out of the abatement funds, the opioid abatement funds. They do have grant funding for this.
That was my understanding.
My understanding was that that it was going to be for Medicaid and their admin. This is different than the.
Okay.
Yep,
So, but it is covered by grant funding.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 7 is Social Services Department Administration. It's chargeback contracts. increase to requested 2 special patrol officers, SPOs. It's from $68,632 to $82,076. It's a difference of $13,444. Discussion. Yes.
Thank you again, Chairman. So basically $13,444, we're just switching from, with chargeback from one account to another account, is that correct?
Correct. The $82,000 is reflected in the DSS revenue line.
Okay, so there is no difference on that. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 8 is Social Services Department, Juvenile Delinquent and PINs, move miscellaneous amounts to contracts. It is a difference of $0. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 9, Social Services Department, Putnam Workforce Partnership, increased revenue. WIA Adult CFDA 17.258 and WIA Dislocated Worker. This is a difference of, it's actually a gain of $16,000 of $261. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 10 is the County Clerk Contingency Fund. 2.75% COLA increase, move out of sub-contingency. Discussion. Yes.
My fellow legislators have come before you today with a proposal that speaks in the very essence of public service. We've chosen this path not for personal gain, but to serve our communities with integrity and dedication. In light of this, I propose any raises or salary adjustments for elected officials be kept in sub-contingency until all outstanding collective bargaining agreements for our public workforce have been fully addressed. Public service is not a job, it's a calling. We're here to serve the people who have entrusted us with their well-being, their safety, and their future. Our communities depend on the tireless work of the CSEA, PCSEA, and other essential personnel, such as our legislative staff, who make sure we are all camera ready, who continue to show up day after day. However, many of these dedicated officials are still waiting on their collective bargaining agreements to be resolved. It's our duty as public servants to ensure that these issues are addressed before we consider the prospect of raises for ourselves. Our role is to lead by example. While compensation is important, it cannot and should not take precedence over fulfilling our obligation to those who keep our communities functioning. By keeping annual salary adjustments for elected officials in sub-contingency, we demonstrate our commitment to fairness and our responsibility as stewards of public trust. We send a clear message that we're prioritizing the needs of people over personal gain, and we stand in solidarity with the workers who are waiting for their agreements to be finalized. This is not just a gesture, this is a reflection of what it means to be a public servant. And we have the opportunity to show people that we serve, their well-being comes first, and we are dedicated to resolving their issues before we consider our own. I urge you, my fellow legislators, to support this proposal. Let us uphold the highest standards of public service, putting the needs of our communities and our workforce above all else.
Any other discussion? Yes.
Well, I hope that the contracts come to fruition sooner than later, but it should be noted that every member of a union will have retroactive pay once those contracts are executed.
Agreed. And the county clerk's salary has nothing to do with union contracts. Legislative
I
Castellano.
wanted to say the same. This is not a merit raise, it's a cost of living adjustment. As we all know, cost of living has skyrocketed. This is a person who's well deserving of this small cost of living increase, 2.75%, as are the other elected officials as well. I don't see any purpose of holding this up for union contracts. I'm hoping the union comes to the table, they negotiate in good faith, they get a fair raise, cost of living adjustment. If it's 2.75, we'd sign for it right now. In my opinion, but I think this is a fair thing to do for our employees.
Legislative Crowley.
I'm not against. I think the clerk works very hard, and every elected official works very hard. I'm just asking that we hold it in sub-contingency until we finalize
The one big difference is the county.
didn't get to
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just hold it into sub-contingency until they're finalized. That's all I'm asking.
Legislator Castellano.
The county clerk has nothing to do with the union contracts. He's not sitting at the table with these people. It's not his responsibility to hold him hostage for a 2.75% cost of living adjustment. I don't think is fair.
Any other discussion?
I agree, I think one has nothing to do with the other, across the board.
Roll call vote, please.
We're voting for,
To put, take it, take it
take it out.
out of sub-contingency.
And put in the lines,
For,
county clerk.
take it out of sub-contingency.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
I'm going to abstain, because I wasn't here for the conversation.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes,
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 11, Sheriff Contingency Fund, 2.75% COLA increase, move out of sub-contingency. Discussion.
I'll reiterate the same point I made before. This is the Sheriff's Department. The PBA is under contract, so that's good for them. I would hope CSEA would get back to the table. I'm sure they are, because I don't have privy to that information. But again, it's a cost of living adjustment for the sheriff, and he doesn't have anything to do with the unions that are still without a contract.
I'm going to ask for another roll call vote, please.
This is to take it out of sub-contingency and put it in line. Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
This is for the sheriff's administrative staff?
Sheriff.
Thanks, okay, so no.
Legislator Nasarino.
yes,
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 12 is the Coroner's Contingency Fund, 2.75% cost of living adjustment increase, move out of sub-contingency. Discussion? I'll make, everybody feels the same way, I get it. Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
yes,
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 13 is the Legislature Auditing Contingency Fund. Legislators 2.75% cost of living adjustment increase, move out of sub-contingency. This is for the legislature. This is not for the staff or auditing. Discussion. Yes, Legislator Goulart.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to keep this in sub-contingency until all the contracts are settled this year. So I'll be voting no on this until that's settled.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Obviously, you know my
Same thing,
stance.
I get it.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes, and I will be refusing mine.
Legislator Goldman.
No. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
yes,
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
I said no, correct.
Correct.
Item number 14 is Legislature Auditing Contingency Fund. Legislative staff, 2.75% COLA increase, move out of sub-contingency. This is for 4 employees in the legislative office. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
yes,
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 15 is Legislature Auditing Contingency Fund for the county auditor and staff. 2.75% COLA increase, move out of sub-contingency. This is for our county auditor and 2 other staff members. Discussion. Roll call, one more roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 16 is the county executive contingency fund, 2.75% COLA increase, move out of sub-contingency. Discussion. Yes.
For the same reason as I voted no, number 13 in the legislature, until the contracts are done, we should not move this out of sub-contingency. So I'm going to vote no on this.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
So is this, we're moving this out, voting to move this out of contingency and then voting to, anything else after that?
We're moving it out of sub-contingency.
And putting it into the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna be voting to, I'm gonna be voting to move it out of sub-contingency.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
No.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Item number 12 is the Veteran Service Agency temporary increase to requested amount. This is a difference of $16,148. Discussion.
Seven.
Item 17.
17.
I'm sorry, 17. Did I say 16?
13, 12.
They're
even
all
close.
numbers are starting to look alike. Sorry, number 17, it's the Veteran Service. Everything else was right, I think. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Physical Services Committee is the Veterans Home, zero out the natural gas, electric, and security monitoring and rental lines. It's going to be accounted for by DGS. It's a difference in a positive way of $12,200. Discussion. I hope I said 18. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just to verify, it's not really costing us $12,200, correct? It's being covered by some other line?
Through DGS.
Thank
It
you.
was a duplicate,
Thank
so
you.
we're just zeroing it out.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We're in Protective Services Committee. This is item 19, the Sheriff's Department, motor vehicles, 2 UTVs. I'm going to make a motion to remove this from the agenda. Do I have a second? And the reason I'm going to remove this is because Commissioner Lewis advised me earlier today that he was able to secure some money from this year's budget, from the '24 budget, and is able to purchase the 1 or 2 UTVs?
Two UTVs.
2 UTVs. So there's no, this is not necessary for the '25 budget. So I'm making a motion to remove this from the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Can we remove, I wish we could remove more. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I
Thank,
ask
Thank you,
a question?
yes, you may.
If I can ask where these 2 ATVs will be kept, the sheriff's here.
We'll look to keep one on each side of the county
Thank
if
you.
possible, depending on space.
Thank you, Sheriff. Item number 20 is the Sheriff's Department Communications Crisis Intervention Team's grant. Federal aid, it's reducing revenue. It's a difference of $72,498. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 21, Sheriff's Department Communications Threat Assessment Management Grant, increased revenue. It's a difference of $6,890. Discussion.
21? 20.
This- Did I skip 20? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
21.
Yeah,
My
21.
mind's on, outside of here. Sheriff's Department Communications, item number 20, Crisis Intervention Teams grant.
21.
21.
Yeah, we just did 20.
Threat Assessment Management Grant.
So 21?
Not
Yeah,
flipping the
21.
pages fast
Yeah,
enough.
you-
It's a difference in a positive way of 18,370. I apologize. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item 22. Sheriff's Department Civil Division, increased temporary to requested amount. It's a difference of $1,860, and they'll adjust the fringes accordingly. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnissio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
I have to abstain due to the fact that my husband works in that department.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Massarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yonke.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 23 is the Sheriff Patrol Services State Police Traffic Services Program, Traffic Safety Grant, and Buckle Up Grant. Increased revenue and overtime. This is a difference of 0. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 24 is Sheriff Security Services, increase to temporary. It's a difference of $44,137. Discussion. Yes.
Thank you. What is this for again?
I don't have a book with me. The temp line for services is for the SPOs.
In DSS.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 25, we're now in personnel. Item number 25 is the district attorney. Increased salary from $5,000 to $8,000. Not a proposed stipend of $5,000. It's a difference of $3,230. Discussion. Yes.
And then it's mandatory by the state anyway, so what do we have to vote for it?
No, this is for the chief district attorney.
I'm sorry, I thought it was for the...
Chief Assistant District Attorney, I'm sorry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 26 is the Health Department. Nursing, requested reclass to supervising public health nurse of $7,000 and upgrade for all nurses to $63,560 to move this money to sub-contingency. We had a discussion the other night, and this is to put money away for hopefully reclassing and upgrading nurse positions. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 27, mental health. Oasis Youth Director, split with Youth Bureau and DSS. It's an increase from $6,192 to $11,192. It's a difference of $5,383. This is for the Youth Director. Discussion.
It's a split position.
It's a split position, yes. And this is covered by opioid abatement funds. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 28 is mental health. Oasis abatement reclass to Director of CAC. Split with CAC and DSS administration, increase from $11,729 to $16,729. It's a difference of $5,383. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 29 is mental health. Oasis abatement, fiscal manager, split with mental health and DSS administration. It's an increase from $7,540 to $12,717. It's a difference of $5,573. This is the fiscal manager down at mental health. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 30 is mental health, Oasis abatement revenue. 100% funded for changes to youth director, director of child advocacy center, and fiscal manager. This is a positive difference of $16,399. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 31 is the Bureau of Emergency Services Public Information Officer stipend placed into sub-contingency. There's a difference of 0. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 32, Bureau of Emergency Services, confidential secretary salary adjustment. It's an increase of from $2,500 to $7,500. It's a difference of $5,383. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Item number 33 is the Sheriff's Department Bureau of Criminal Investigation, Deputy Sheriff Criminal Investigator, to restore the requested position. This is a difference of $187,300. Discussion. Legislator Goulden.
This is a new position, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Just to be clear, just so everybody knows, this is, the sheriff came to the administration with a request for a new criminal investigator. It was denied by the administration, and the committee voted to move this forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 34 is the Sheriff's Department. Amend salaries of captains, correction captains, lieutenants, and undersheriff, keeping a percentage difference between similar of that of resolutions 177 and 178 of 2014. There was a resolution from 2014 that maintained percentages of difference between the CSEA highest classification and the captains and the undersheriff. Discussion. I see a hand. Mr. Eldridge.
I just wanted to indicate PBA, not CSEA.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Thank you for the correction.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes.
I still don't see the line in here for the lieutenant being moved over to the second first sergeant. Sorry if
This
that-
is strictly dealing with the captains and the undersheriff.
And the lieutenants.
I'm sorry?
Lieutenants included.
It has the the corrections lieutenant on here too, so that's why I was asking where that change would be.
Page 2.
Page 2
There won't be a,
shows lieutenant
there won't
from,
be a lieutenant.
but there's a second
because
first
it's
sergeant.
moved to first sergeant.
Yeah.
Your question again?
My question is, there was because it was submitted earlier in the year, right, it was your budget was reflected as still having a lieutenant, which there is no longer a lieutenant position, there are 2 first sergeant spots. So I don't see that reflected here in this.
There is no lieutenant in the patrol division. We spoke the other night, Commissioner Lewis is in the midst of making that correction or change, amendment to the budget line in terms of the title. And corrections has 2 lieutenants.
Right, I was just wondering why we aren't seeing it on this tonight when we're approving it in audit. Shouldn't it be here for, or shouldn't that correction have been made already? By Commissioner Lewis?
That'll be done at a certain point. That'll be a bookkeeping issue for 2025, not for 2024.
No, I think it's a bookkeeping issue for 2024
Yeah.
and not for 2025.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not in the budget.
So we took care of it in the 2024.
Right.
And that's why it's not showing up here in
Right.
2025. So it's not.
It should be in 2025 as well though, because we created a new position.
We eliminated the position.
We eliminated 1 position, but we created a second first sergeant position.
So in 25, you'll see 2 first sergeants, no lieutenant.
I guess I was just
But this
looking for
resolution
the pay scale on here.
This resolution doesn't apply to first sergeants, just to
The
the captains
captains
and
and
the
lieutenants.
sheriff.
Okay, because on the second page it does, so.
That's the backup. Look at the resolution.
Page 3.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 35 is the county executive confidential secretary. Increased salary adjustment from $4,437 to $6,192. It's a difference of $1,889. Discussion. Well deserved. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 36, Law Department. Senior Deputy County Attorney, remove $5,000 salary adjustment. This is a positive difference of $5,383. Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
One no from legislature.
One no. Thank you. Item number 37, adjustments from Finance Commissioner. Correct revenues and appropriations to various accounts. Maybe Commissioner of Finance Lewis, maybe you can just briefly walk us through this one?
Sure. Number 37, correct?
That is correct.
Again, this is-
Do I need to make a motion to bring on other business?
Yeah, this wasn't moved forward from committee, so
Oh,
it needs to
no.
be added.
Oh, to bring it on? Because it's on the agenda as,
It is, but
It wasn't a
Chair,
committee issue.
only items moved from a committee don't need a second. So because this was moved from a committee, it needs a
right, I
second.
thought he just needs a second on the motion.
But I don't,
To
Yeah.
move
I
it.
didn't make,
he didn't make the
I
motion
didn't make a,
to add it.
Just to add it, and then we'll do a motion and a second on that.
Right.
I'm gonna make a motion to add item number 37 to the agenda. Do I have a second? Thank you. Discussion now or a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I'd like to rescind my vote for item number 36 and vote no.
Commissioner Lewis.
This is strictly, to be honest with you, this is just bookkeeping. This was after we went through all the committee meetings. I did one more comprehensive review. I worked with County Road Sharkey, and these are just nominal changes.
These are just adjustments, normal, ordinary adjustments to clean up the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion or questions for Commissioner Lewis? All in favor? Aye. I would like to make a motion, to add item number 38, adjustments from DGS Commissioner, properly classify leased vehicles in the Health Department. I'll make a motion to add that to the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Lewis, this is a zero difference. It looks like we're just taking the leased vehicles in the Health Department.
Correct. This is, again, Commissioner Tully sent an email after his review, after the committee meeting, and he's just, after looking at the inventory list, this is to correct the appropriations accordingly.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 39. I'd like to make a motion to move this forward. This is the County Clerk Confidential Secretary. This is for a slight salary adjustment from $4,262 to $6,022. I met with the county clerk today. During the budget process with the administration, it was discussed that the county executive's confidential secretary and the county clerk's confidential secretary would be kept at salaries on par with one another. He made a great argument as to why they should. So I am making this motion to put this on the agenda first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now discussion on the agenda item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Any other business? Legislator Nasarino.
Thank you, Chairman. I have two motions to present this evening, if I may do so. The first one is, the book is page 1, and I would like to make a motion to increase the salary for number 10101013. I was remiss in bringing this forward the other night. In the past, the two legislative administrative assistants had distinct duties and responsibilities. This employee has proven to be an integral part of the legislative staff and has stepped up to assume tasks which have lessened the gap between the two positions. This employee is intelligent, well-educated, and a true professional. I believe we should be moving forward towards implementing more parity between the two positions, recognizing that one remains a step above. I believe this employee is well deserving of this proposed increase of $2,500.
I'll second that.
All in favor
Put it on the
to
agenda.
put that on the agenda, to add that as other business, all in favor?
Aye.
Now discussion on the motion.
I agree with Legislator Nasarino.
Yes, I totally agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah, I would support this.
Mhm.
I'm going to say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I
Thank
proceed
you.
with the second motion?
Yes.
Okay. We have a page 34. This is in regard to the TIO. So page 34, item number 1230100907. Also on page 46, employee number 4010261101. With reference to page 34, I hereby make a motion to place an additional $2,500 into sub-contingency for the other public information officer tasked to take on an equal responsibility. I would request that these two positions be reflected as split positions, similar to the confidential secretary who performs personnel who performs a separate task serving the Board of Ethics. This issue is more complex and needs to be discussed at a future date. We need to fully understand the duties and responsibilities to be incurred. To pay one PIO and not the other is unfair and inequitable. The optics lends itself towards nepotism, since one employee works for the county executive is to be paid, while an equal allocation was not encumbered for the other employee. At the personnel meeting, Director Eldridge was asked if it was a paid position in the past. He indicated it was a volunteer position. However, he noted PIOs were excused from their workday to attend training, etc. He noted the other employee, page 46, will be paid overtime for work incurred. So here's the sticky part, which clearly delineates just how unjust this is. Should the employee work overtime, it would be at a rate of $93.10 per hour. She would have to work 26.85 hours of overtime to reach the threshold of $2,500. If she dedicates her time and expertise during the workday, as Director Eldridge indicated, for training or any other circumstance, she would receive no additional pay. She would only be paid for work after hours. Conversely, if she's exceeded the 26.85 hours of overtime, it would be a disadvantage to the other PIO. We all know the employee in question tonight is a superstar and is among Putnam's finest. She gives 1,000% to the county and is totally immersed in all that she does. She lives in Putnam County as opposed to the other PIO who lives in Dutchess, making her more accessible to responding to call-outs in due time. I am disheartened to see that the $2,500 was not afforded to this employee as an equal pay for an equal job. So my motion tonight is to place $2,500 into contingency.
Okay, so we have a motion to add this as other business. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now discussion on the motion.
What department is this in? I couldn't hear that, but I think she said.
This would be in emergency services as it was listed for the one PIO and not two.
So Instead of two, we're gonna have one. That's what you just said?
We have to.
Okay, but that, is that what you just said?
No.
I said to the chair, it was listed in, under emergency, I'm sorry, it was listed in emergency service for one PIO. I am requesting that the other PIO be placed on this line as well, for 25.
There are
it's
two
equal
public
amount of
information
pay.
officers, one's getting paid a stipend, and the other one, theoretically, if she worked outside of her 9 to 5, whatever her business hours were, she'd be getting paid overtime. I think I have that correct.
That's correct.
Any discusussion? Yes.
Mr. Chair, so I think this is fair and equitable, that they both will be splitting the workload, correct? And it was splitting salary. What is the salary then for, are we
Well,
discussing
I
that?
would like to also, through the chair, list this as a split and not a stipend. I'm more comfortable with that. But it would be $2,500 in contingency for each. And at that time, during committee meeting, and the committee of legislature can then adjust the salary accordingly, either keep it the same or reduce it and split it, whatever is decided upon and considered based on the information brought forth. So we haven't really had a meaningful discussion on what this looks like, what the hours may be. It may be 2,500 may be too much. 2,500 may be perfect. I don't know. We don't know how many call-outs, what they were in the past, how much time would it be off during the workday, how much training they need, how much would be at night. But we do know if there's an emergency, they're on the scene. So I think to give it the attention and consideration that it warrants, I respectfully place both of them in sub-contingency and let that conversation take place in committee. But I think it should be equal across the board. I'm
Agreed.
astounded that it wasn't presented that way from the get-go.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
I do have a question. I don't know if Mr. Eldridge can answer it, but the employee that would get paid time and a half, we're proposing to put a $2,500 stipend for that person as well in
No,
contingency?
in lieu of getting paid
In lieu of
overtime.
getting paid
It shouldn't be overtime. It would be almost $100 an hour. But
Right.
in order for her to meet the threshold of working to break even with the other PIO, she would have to work 26 hours of overtime.
Wouldn't that employee be a CSEA member?
The other employee is a CSEA.
So wouldn't that be a problem?
It could potentially be a problem, but I think more discussion we can resolve.
Would be warranted?
Well, we're putting the money in sub-contingency, so we can
I think
continue
we'll
the
figure it out.
discussion.
And-
It's an acknowledgement that it's.
And I don't think it should be a problem. I don't think we
I
should
don't
make
think
it a
so
problem.
either.
I don't, if you're asking somebody to do something, it should be equal pay for equal task. Then you shouldn't have asked her in the first place.
Yes.
And throughout this personnel budget, we've heard time and time again where we have department heads come in here and say, this particular employee is taking on more than their actual job description, and they should be compensated for it. How many times have we heard that throughout the budget process? I think this just goes along those lines.
Yes.
Is this responsibilities for these public information officers just for administration and bureau events? Does it also include the sheriff's department events?
I think it's just for Bureau of
Bureau
Emergency
of
Services.
Emergency Services.
I honestly, I don't know why we need 2 public information officers for a small county. I don't see each department head or department should be providing that information to the county executive and to the legislature anyway.
Well, I know that the deputy county executive is here, but he said the other night that they're both trained and certified through FEMA.
So am I.
So,
Through the chair, I think this deserves the discussion and questions all that Legislator Montgomery brought forth and any other discussion
yeah,
that
it's going to
people have.
sub-contingency, I
But
agree with you.
in committee, I
All
think we should reserve it for that time.
Any other discussion?
One more question.
Yeah.
Sheriff has a public information officer.
We have our own.
and they don't get a stipend. They're,
No, he's management and he prepares releases.
It's the management.
as we contact.
I mean, all our management should be trained in FEMA, all the great trainings that are available for free from FEMA. It's accessible to us, it's accessible to the whole county, private citizens, not-for-profits, and we should all know what our departments are doing and be providing that information to the legislature and the administration anyway.
And through the chair, that's the decision for the legislature to evaluate and make at that time? Because it was volunteer up until
It's
this
not
year.
volunteer, it's part of a job.
Roll call
It's part of
vote?
a job.
Either or.
Legislator
appointees or-
Agnazio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Golden.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yako.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Legislator Agnazio.
Yes, I have several motions to bring forward this evening.
Okay.
Okay. On page 15, line 149010136.
Are we in personnel or?
I'm sorry.
Second
Yes,
chair.
personnel. Yes, page 15 in personnel.
Yep.
I believe that this line was inadvertently left out. We did discuss it the other evening.
What line was it? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's 149010136. So it's 136, the last three, just 136. Okay, on page 15. So this, the Department of Public Works will be dealing with a substantial increase in workload, and I would like to make a motion to increase the line by $2,500.
Do I have a second to add that to the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Discussion on the motion. Legislator Goldman.
By looking at this, they requested 58,000 and they gave
That's the salary.
60,000, so they are,
That's the
Giving it.
COLA, that's the COLA increase,
so you wanna do another 2,500 on top of that?
yes. It's one of the lowest paid. If you look at all the confidential secretaries, I have a whole list, and that's one of the lowest paid ones. One, I should say. Okay?
I agree with Legislator Agnazio.
I kind of wish I heard that the department had advocated for this.
Well,
I
as we
didn't hear that.
Okay, but as we discussed that evening, the department head was not under the impression that he had to.
Yes.
The department head and I communicated, and what he told me is that the county executive, I should say the administration, instructed them to not put in the request because they were all going to be dealt with at once. Because I specifically asked the head of DPW
Right,
why
there
it
was-
was
It's a
not
heck of
there.
a way to do business.
Through the chair, it was a
Yes.
formula that they were working with, and they were going to go across the board, but this one was inadvertently left out.
Who said that?
Who
That she
said-
was- That this one was inadvertently?
I'm
left?
saying it.
Oh, you're saying?
I'm saying it
Oh,
because it's not
I
in
thought
here.
somebody from the administration
No, but we
said
did
it.
discuss it.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Legislator Agnazio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yako.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Any other, yes?
Yes, I'm sorry. I would like to move on to Career Support Solutions. For 37 years, they have been teaching a workforce readiness program here in Putnam County, working with adults and students ages 16 to retirement age with disabilities, as well as low-income seniors. They also have a program for developmentally disabled adults who are not quite ready for supported work. That's called the AIM, Ambition in Motion Program, which runs 5 days per week, teaching life skills in small groups who volunteer in our community to learn job and social skills. They also have an On-Course for College program for disabled clients who want to go to college or earn a certificate program. And our Jobs for Seniors is also for people age 55 and older with and without disabilities by finding employment for them in resume preparation, teaching workforce readiness skills. So I would like to make a motion to increase that line. That's on page 185.
Page, please.
185.
185, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to increase that line by $7,000.
Okay, that's to add to the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion on the motion.
I would support the $7,000 increase. I think they perform a valuable service in the county.
The problem I have is that I've never seen a presentation from this group, and I would probably be the most willing to advocate. I just have a hard time with it that we were not privy to a discussion directly with the group. And that's partly because, you know, this was thrust upon us. Our window for dealing with this budget is a very tight, short window. And I have a tough time with this, but any other discussion? Yes?
I would ask, where would the money come from? Would it come from the money?
Yeah, you're talking about this coming out of the sub-contingency fund that
Yes,
was
money
put
was,
together?
$75,000 was put in sub-contingency for outside agencies.
For all, I mean, for any
For all.
outside agencies that can come forward and state their case.
And they've been here.
In my opinion, I think we should keep it there, and they can come in front of you guys next year and explain why they are due part of that $75,000.
That's my feeling as
This way they
well.
can speak up and tell us why, because it's gonna be tough to decide. You know, all these agencies are all well-deserving of money.
Yep. And somebody's gonna get left out.
Yeah, the presentation wasn't given to us, so I think you guys should wait until next year to see it.
Yeah, they couldn't make it, so
Yep.
that was,
Well,
but they did send information.
Legislative Woman.
I agree with Chairman Yonke and Catalano. I'm not gonna support this.
Yes.
I agree as well. Last year, we made them come forward and speak to us and held funds into sub-contingency. I think that we should do the same.
Yes.
I think I'm assuming they presented to the county executive, and the county executive decided to give them $15,000. And I think next year, there's money available. They make their presentation to the legislature, and if you guys at that point want to add to their total, that's the appropriate time to do it.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote for
The
put it on the
7,000.
agenda, or?
No, it's on the
It's on-
agenda.
it's on the
We
agenda,
already did
just to
that.
vote
And
for
now,
it.
now it's to approve the moving out of sub-contingency to the agency.
Legislator Edmondson.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
No.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goulman.
No.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
No.
Chairman Yonke.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, I'm going to bring the next one. Oh, I'm
Can-
sorry.
Can I just interject?
Mhm.
Can we entertain a motion to put the $7,000? I don't know how you want to do it next year, so I'm just asking.
It's in sub-contingency right now.
But it hasn't been encumbered for this particular agency, so can we encumber that amount and then have them come, and then just, how
That
do you want
failed.
to do that?
That failed.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. I'd like to bring forward the libraries. They did come and give a presentation, as they do every year. We have 8 libraries here in Putnam County, and there has been an increase of their licensing software. And as everybody knows, everything that they do, technology workshops, they do so much for Putnam County. I would like to make a motion to increase the line by $12,000.
Okay, that's a motion to put it on the
Motion.
agenda as other business. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now discussion on the motion. Yes.
So each library is in their own taxing district. They can choose to, and I support and love the libraries, and I think they provide a service that is invaluable. But they also have their own budget and their own board of trustees in which they are voted in and set their budget every year. And I don't believe that it's on the legislature to fund them fully. I believe that that's partly on them too.
Yes,
Can you get the
legislative
page
Goulman.
number on this?
I agree with.
222.
Thank you.
222.
Page 222.
Yes.
Yes, legislative Goulman.
I agree with legislator Klein. They are, I'll keep it level funding, I can't increase it. I will not be supporting.
Legislator Montgomery?
If I may, a lot of these, we refer to their own taxing district. Many of these libraries have not gone out to referendum in decades to increase that tax levy. And you've heard them come before us over and over again. They're here when they should be advocating for themselves. I actually would like to amend the motion and increase the funding to what they originally requested, to $17,100.
Page 222.
All right, there's a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion on that motion.
Well, the increase, I'm sorry, did you?
No, go ahead,
okay.
go ahead.
The increase for the software was over $8,000 alone. Now, we have to understand that this is split between 8 libraries. This is not for one library. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes.
If I may, that libraries in my community serve as the cooling center, warming center when the power goes out, which it has done more frequently. The county does not come over and open up a warming station or a cooling station or provide services. Rarely do they. In my district, again, most of the services are over here, so the libraries do serve as that emergency service, resource for the people in my district often. So I, again, would encourage everyone to consider the services that they provide beyond books for our communities. There are community centers for our kids. Our kids are sent there after school. Sometimes, maybe parents aren't home and the kids are sent to the library. I don't know. I'm not saying that they're the babysitters, but they have wonderful after-school programs, and it's doing a lot to keep our kids off the street. I can go on, and I know you all know, so I'm going to end it there and just really encourage you to increase it to $17,100.
Legislator Nasarino.
I agree with Legislator Montgomery and just want to echo her sentiments, but when we look at these agencies, I don't think there's any agency that serves the greater good as the libraries do. From baby programs to senior programs to workshops to books to accountant services to helping kids who do not have the internet at home be able to utilize the computers at the library. It encompasses a great population of Putnam County residents, and it is one of the most valuable resources that we have here in Putnam County. So I will be fully supporting it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Now, we had a motion and then a motion to amend. Do I need to vote?
Second.
We have a second on the motion to amend. Now, we had a discussion, can we just do a roll call vote on the?
No, was there a vote on the motion to amend?
There was not.
Okay.
It was just,
You need a vote on the motion to amend because it's a subsidiary motion, so you have to do that first.
All right,
And
so-
if that's successful, the motion's amended, and you would call for discussion on the amended motion.
Okay, I thought, all in favor on the motion to amend?
Yes.
Aye.
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 Okay. Now we're gonna
Not
have
yes,
a roll
aye.
call vote. We had the discussion.
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
If we can continue the conversation. So, again, this money that you're proposing would be coming out of the $75,000 that's
Correct.
already in sub-contingency. Go ahead.
I disagree that it would. It does it have to, all of it has to come out of the sub-contingency line?
It doesn't have to.
At your discretion.
But
That's the line
so
that-
if like here we're doing this and we run out of that $75,000, we
I
can
hope
still
not.
increase,
Yeah.
We should.
Theoretically, but
With
it's
all
a
the
vote.
requests.
It's a vote.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand where you're moving this money out of. If you're moving it out of, the difference with the libraries, they come in front of us all the time, we know what they do. That was my objection to the one before, because I would like them to come in front of us and tell us what they do. I could appreciate this, but I want to make sure we stay within the budget. There's $75,000 in sub-contingency. How much are we moving out of that $75,000 to fund the libraries if this was approved?
17-1.
17-1.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that's that's what we're doing.
Thank you, that makes it clear.
Mhm.
Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adamizio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
No,
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Can I ask for a running total of what's in that 75,000 now? And we're down to...
We only did
There was
we
only
only
the
did this one.
17, there was only 17-1 so
No,
far.
Well, I just
No,
want,
and
I
the
just want
seven-
the, I just want the number. If we-
And
No, it didn't
Well,
come out.
careers failed.
The other one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
the
It's
7,000.
only 17-1 so
That's
far.
right.
Only 17-1 came out of the 75,000.
Right.
Correct, the first one failed.
The other one failed.
57,900.
We have left
57,900.
57.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a theme, so I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, because I'm not comfortable going any further
Yeah.
personally, but yeah,
I'm
so
not-
you have another motion?
Yes, I'm not gonna make a motion. I just want to say, we'll be advocating for the SPCA. Now, I'm not doing the motion because everyone's gonna vote to put it in sub-contingency. So, and they come before us.
Okay,
They've
thank
come
you.
all the time, and I just want to say, there are cases where a 30% increase in arrests this year. 5 cases were involving child protection services, and 7 cases involved adult protective services. And they have found that by actually, in 2023, they did 600 parking lot patrols to find dogs that were either in a heated car, overheated, and they uncovered actually child abuse also. So I will be advocating for them, but we will invite them then next year.
Understood, thank you. Anyone else have any other, yes, sir?
Yes, I'm going to pick on one entity first. I'd like to make a motion to discuss our contribution to the Putnam Arts Council, page 225, line 54950, and to other business.
Yeah, but what is the other business? A motion to discuss isn't,
I'm going to need some help from legislative counsel on this. What my issue, which I'd like to bring up, is I have a problem with any of the outside agencies re-granting funds. I don't see that re-granting and scholarships are functions of the outside agencies. We should be funding them as a contractual outside agency to perform a service. And that they have listed, and they were very kind to provide it, of all the re-grants,
right.
okay? So I have a big problem with that, just like a scholarship.
Okay.
We're not
So
in
make
business.
a motion, please.
Rob,
That's
can I
something-
have some assistance on how to phrase this,
Through
please?
the chair, I think your only option for a motion is to change a budget line either up or down.
Okay?
I believe you can move that money to sub-contingency
and move it
to
to
have them come in
sub-contingency.
front of you next year.
I move to add to the agenda, to move to sub-contingency $13,993 of the Putnam Arts Council.
Okay, do I have a second? I'll second it. Can I get a roll call vote on adding this to the agenda?
Legislator Adamizio.
No.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley. Can you just, what are we to add to the agenda?
Moving.
To add to the discuss, so we can have a discussion.
Yes.
Legislator Elner.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
No.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes,
Motion carries.
okay. So, have discussion on the other business.
Yes.
I just, in thinking of what you just said, I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I could appreciate it, but I do think they probably need some money in January, so putting the full amount into sub-contingency might be too much. Maybe we could look at doing half of it, so there's money available to them in January, but I appreciate your point.
Yeah.
I just haven't made a total decision yet. Just wanted to put that out there, because I do
That's a
think
very
in
valid
January,
point.
they're gonna need money.
Commissioner Lewis, how often do they get is it a one check a year deal, or do they get checks monthly?
Every outside agency is different, but I believe this one in particular is once a month. So the 13,000 would just go back into sub-contingency, but they would have access to the 50,000 and about 4,300.
Okay, then.
All right, so they would have access to some money.
Got it.
All right, thank
Just
you.
the 13,000, like we said, it's just an in and out, so.
Thank you.
Granting.
Yes.
So they're not, what we're doing here is supporting the arts in Putnam County. Is there any other agenda item in this entire $205 million budget that supports the arts? And we're talking a minimal, 68,000 that was actually approved. They're not re-granting the amount. What they're doing is they're matching state grant funding. So we give them a certain amount, and then that is doubled by the state. And that money comes from the state to Putnam County to be re-granted out. If we lower the money that we're giving for this grant program, we get less money from the state, we get less money to support the arts here in Putnam County. So I am in no way, shape, or form in favor of this. In fact, I'm in favor of granting what they initially requested at the amount of $71,500. So I will not be supporting this, and I'll be making my own motion
Yes.
to.
I believe Legislator Sage is partially correct. It might be that if it's possible, and again, this is something where we need to discuss, where we could put some restrictions on what happens, because I fully support the arts, but some of these organizations who were granted turned around and re-granted the money. So in essence, we're creating a vehicle for allowable money laundering. If you need it, you're gonna use it. And I think that this requires some more diligence.
I would suggest, because of the history with the Putnam Arts Council, I would suggest we leave things the way they are. There's some money, and we can bring them in next year in a Rules Committee meeting and have a discussion with them. It is our money going to them, and I think they have the right to hear from us how, if we have an opinion on how the money should be spent, I think they have the right to hear that at a committee meeting. That's my 2 cents. Yes, Legislator Montgomery.
I'm trying to understand what Legislator Elner is wanting here. Count how many organizations you have on that page, because I don't have it in front of me, if you don't mind. Or let's just say there's many. Are you saying that rather than having the Putnam Arts Council give that, maybe sometimes it ranges from $800 to $1,500 to those organizations, that they come before us?
Well, 2 of them already do,
And
because they're libraries.
So are you requesting that they all come before us and request that $1,500 that they get out of the Putnam Arts Council a year?
Nancy, I'd love to give you a definitive answer, but I think that this.
So then you're just suggesting to remove the money from the arts?
You gotta let him answer.
No, I think that we have to put more scrutiny, because there were some problems which I do not want to go into at this time with some of the people. The idea, if they give it to an agency and that agency uses it, that's wonderful. But if that agency turns around and then re-grants it, and it gets re-granted again, I have problems with that.
Well, I'm not privy to your information. It's similar to the ag districts, I believe. Now you have a problem with different agencies supporting events and things in our county that we as a legislature can't do. I don't know if you're aware, but you should read the economic impact of the arts, not only in Putnam County. I don't have specifics, because unfortunately we don't do that kind of data collecting in Putnam County, but the economic impact from a study done, maybe it was in 2015, the arts inject $245 million direct impact into the Hudson Valley economy, $223 million indirect, creating over 4,970 jobs. That's 216 jobs per $100,000 in our population. Not to mention, again, the discussion we just had about what libraries do, and you know some of this money goes to the libraries. I've attended the Putnam Arts Council events at the libraries. I suggest you do, because, you know, throughout the county, these art performances are in every town and in every fabric, in every corner of our county. And
Well, how would you feel if money was given to an organization that gave to another organization, and that money was used to have a protest?
well, we have an organization here tonight that contributed to a political campaign, an outside agency, not-for-profit, that we give money to, that we created. So,
I'm saying
yeah.
specific to the chair, how would you feel if money was used, regranted again, and then used to fund a protest?
Can you show me the evidence that it was county dollars that?
That's my point. It's
Well-
not fungible. We can't track $1.
Fire departments have money from the taxpayer. They also have a private fund that are used for their events that they have at the firehouse. I don't know that the event that you're talking about was used with the grant funding that we gave them. We don't know that, and to deny that funding tonight, you know,
I'm not
this,
denying it, I'm saying we need to have
You're-
more discussions, and it appears that the only mechanism to have additional discussions is putting it in sub-contingency. If there's another mechanism, I welcome, because there are some absolutely wonderful organizations and things that are here, but
Any other discussion?
no, I'd like to make a motion to,
there's a motion on the floor, correct?
it's already,
There's,
so I'd like to amend the motion to give the Putnam Arts Council a requested $71,500.
is there a second?
Second?
Okay.
And that's it. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna do a roll call vote on the amended motion,
No, the motion to.
What page?
the motion to amend.
What
The
page
mo-
is that?
225.
225. Legislator Montgomery increased the amount that she,
Well, I'm sorry, through the chair. They requested 2610, correct, this year? $2,610 increase?
I'm sorry. They requested
Additional.
19,500.
Really?
Yes. And they were given and the total was $18,299.
So the
can you just
difference-
clarify your motion to
I don't
amend?
know.
Sure, I would like to amend, let me just do the math, please, thank you,
It's $2,610.
thank you.
That's
Increase.
what I'm saying.
Increase the
It's a
funding.
$2,610
$2,610
increase, right,
So
over
I
last
would-
year,
I
over last
amend-
year.
I amend the motion to provide,
Okay. You have a second.
Second.
We just have to be clear, what is the motion?
Um,
Legislator Elner's motion was specific to budget line 54950. Legislator Montgomery, is your motion, does that cover two different lines, or is it just that same line? If it's two different lines, we should specify what lines are being amended.
it's that specific line, 54950, to be increased to $15,000 instead of the requested.
Okay, and you want that money to come out of sub-contingency?
It's actually two.
Where do you
That's
want the
only
money?
$1,000, I'm sorry, that's
Two
1,000.
lines.
Right, there's 3 lines.
There's 3 lines.
Three total.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the 2610
26
total, the
So 3 lines.
4664 advertising,
Mhm.
and then 4950 county contribution to 15,000, and then a little bit underneath it says account 25756000544950, and they requested 52.
Should we do line by line?
And they
Right.
received 50.
First we have to vote
So
on the
those 3
Let's start the first one.
First.
We have, all right, so be clear about your motion to amend, please.
I'd like to amend,
And look, you can do all three at once, as long as part of the same motion, as long as we just say what the budget line, the line items are.
I can say what the line items
Yeah.
are, I
Yeah.
can't give you the exact dollar amount, but I would like to amend 54950 to $15,000, which is the original requested, for an increase of $1,007. I would like to I would like to amend line 54664 to $4,500, which was the originally requested. I'm not gonna do the math right now unless you want me to.
$194.
Line 54950 to a total of 52,000.
1409.
How much is that?
Okay.
How much is that?
1,409.
That totals 2,610, the variance.
The total, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a second on the motion to amend?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Legislator Adnezio.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
No.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
No.
Legislator Goldman.
No,
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
No.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Yaki.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay. So now we go back to the original motion.
Correct.
Any further discussion on the original motion? All right, let's have a roll call vote on that, please.
The original motion from Legislative Elner, are we
Yes.
discussing?
To move, if I may.
To move it into.
To move
sub-
only the 13,993 into sub-contingency, not affecting the large county contribution, which Legislator Sage was saying, where there's the matching.
Okay. So roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnezio.
No.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
yes,
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
No.
Chairman Yaki.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Any other motions for other business?
I do have a few, if I may. Page 226. I would like to request line 54950 be restored to 15,500 out of sub-contingency for the Putnam, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No,
Yes.
Sorry.
227?
226.
226, line 54950, to restore the funding to the Putnam History Museum to 59,948.
That's.
That's to give their request, that's not restoring funding, that's giving
Okay,
them what they requested, is that correct?
correct.
Is there a second? Okay, no second. Do you have another motion?
I do. Page 239. Request for line item 54950. You've heard this organization, Second Chance Food, come before us. Any opportunity they can. They're here tonight to tell us about the really important, critical work they're doing, providing things to those that are in need in Putnam County. And so my request is to provide the requested $30,000 that they originally requested to come out of sub-contingency.
Is there a second? There's no second, any other motion?
Yep, page 240. Line 54950. Again, another organization that keeps kids off the streets. Garrison Arts Center provides wonderful programming. Just started a new program for, well, not a new program for seniors, but their request was specifically to make their art center more accessible for seniors, which is very well needed in those ancient buildings. I don't know if you're familiar with the Garrison's Landing, another part of the county that contributes deeply to the sales tax revenue in the county through ticket sales, sale of art, people coming in off the train. It's a hub of great culture. So I'm requesting that we give them the requested $9,800.
There's a motion, do we have a second? There's no second.
Okay. My next request is for page 241, line 54950. I don't know if you're familiar with Boscobel, one of the great historic sites in Putnam County, a great contributor to the sales tax revenue that we get for the county that, you know, pays our salaries. They're going to be a huge part of things you heard us talk about during this budget and Rev 250. They're already working on it. They had a devastating loss to their building this year where much of the historic artifacts were in danger of being destroyed. It's a big part of Putnam County history, so I'm requesting that we give them the $15,000 that they requested.
Do we have a second? I'm not here. There's no second.
Okay, requesting another great economic driver for Putnam County is on page 242, line 54950. I understand that requested amount is scary to look at. I don't know if you're familiar with what they contribute to the Putnam County economy. If you're not, you should be. So I would at least request that we give them $30,000 for all that they give back to Putnam County as far as employment, tax revenue, and providing arts and culture.
There's a motion, do we have a second? No second.
Okay, page 243, I have a request. I'd like to make a motion to give the requested $30,000 for line 54950 to the Phillipstown Behavioral Health Hub for providing services on the west side of the county that the county otherwise cannot. This opportunity that they presented, if you've read the backup, is really exciting. It's something that they've been working on for a long time. They've been opening up a satellite, and I had been talking to Cove Care with the hopes that they could provide clinical services. So this space that they're getting and the money, with the money that we will give them, will provide services, real clinical services. The hub right now serves as a resource where people, sort of like a stabilization center, they're the ones that send people out and refer and find the resources for people in crisis. So requesting the originally asked $30,000.
There's a motion, do I have a second? No second.
Okay. And page 247, what a great resource this is. I'm going to advocate for it, even though it's not on my side of the county, but it does benefit everybody. Actually, that they requested 11,249 and they got that. Did they request more than that? Okay. So they got that. They got what they requested. Is that correct?
No.
Here's that way.
No, the 54950 was short.
But they got
The ag program got pulled out.
through the chair. But
Yes.
I see they got 10,000 more than they did last year.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have one more request, or actually a question. So there's no motion for that because
Okay.
they got 10,000, but I do have a question. I need to understand better item number 26 that was on the agenda, the health department nursing. That money was put into sub-contingency, $70,560, for a later time when we do this proposed study, not because it's a CSEA contracted issue that we can't provide that, okay, so I'd like to make a motion to take the $70,560 out of sub-contingency and put it in the nursing department. We heard from our supervising public nurse the critical condition that the health department is in, and I know it has been, because for the past at least 3 years, that request that you saw before us during the committee hearings, that wasn't just for this year, that was the year before. We didn't know that it was even the year before that, because we weren't privy to what was requested to the county executive at that time. So this request really has been coming before the county for probably over 3 years now. We've seen that the health department is suffering. We've heard it from them. I can't believe that we're just still making them suffer like this. So my request is to put the $70,560 into the nursing department.
Which lines?
Well, if you go to personnel, I don't have the
Page 41.
Okay. I don't know why you're so angry.
I'm not angry, I'm just wondering how you're gonna divide $70,000 and just give people raises when these are CSEA positions. I don't even think that's possible.
Well, I think it is possible.
It would have to be a reallocation, and we're not in a position to recommend a reallocation at this time. That's why we have the study coming.
Thank you.
How long are we gonna wait for the study?
Well, the money is being allocated if it's approved for the 25 budget, so as soon as we can get it going in January.
In the meantime, we could be losing services by then.
All right, is there a motion?
Yeah, there's a motion to
Okay.
restore.
Do we have a second? There's no second. Anybody else have any other business?
I just have a question for Mr. Eldridge. I think I asked this question, but I'm still not clear. Why wasn't the overture for the reallocations of the grades done prior to this budget, as we have throughout the budget, for the nurses? Why does that require a study when we have several reallocations and grade upgrades within the budget?
Okay, as I indicated the other night on
I'm not
Tuesday.
clear. I'm still not understanding that.
Okay. We modified our recruitment to increase the area that we're recruiting from. And we also started to recruit at step 3 with a range through to step 4. That step 3 is very competitive with all our neighboring counties. And it had a reaction. We had 15 people apply. We have to actually go back and find out why all 15 turned it down. I rattled off, I think, on Tuesday, the information that was given to us by the nursing staff, by the nursing supervisor. I just don't understand how 15 people who applied to be interested in our position all turned it down for one reason or another. We're recontacting those 15 people to find out what are the real issues, and if was there some issue that they were concerned about that we can maybe answer. So, normally to have 15 people apply, and we have, I think, 3 vacancies, we would probably get 2 or 3 to fill, but unfortunately, the information we got from the department was, actually from this one individual, was that they all turned it down for various reasons.
I would speculate to say, without having studied, that the salaries are too low and the health insurance is too high. And that would be a key factor as to giving, 25% of your salary off the bat just for health insurance. So I think the study really should be directed towards how are we going to solve the problem of employee contributions without compromising our funds, but it's just way too high. And when you recruit new people and then they know that 1/4 of their salary is skimmed off the top before they even do anything is probably a driving factor. That's my guess.
Yeah, now, and that could very well be in this instance, but we have been able, with some of the other things that we've done, including the Career Expo, we've filled out a lot of positions. We also have the health program, that's helped us. The other is that we are looking at total compensation, so things such as health insurance contributions, the value of a defined benefit pension plan, the longevities, the salaries, the time off, and so forth. So we're gonna look at the full compensation because we believe we should be able to recruit to fill those positions. And we mined, if you will, 15 candidates, and our indication back to us was, and the only one they talked to was the supervisor in the public health, in the health department. So we're gonna recontact those individuals to find out really what their issue is and concern is.
Well, I won't be here, but I hope this matter is resolved sooner rather than later. I
We-
hope
we
that
will,
it's
absolutely.
expedited and really make this a top priority for the nurses.
And we put forth a significant effort to try to bring this to conclusion.
Okay, thank you to everyone who attended. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night, everybody.